Hi guys, how are you all? Welcome to another video by me, Nikki, beyond Astro K. So guys, today, excuse the noise, I am doing a video on Saturn going into Aries. Now Saturn will go into Aries on the 24th of May, 2025. And then it will stay there until September the 1st. Then it will go back into Pisces. Then it will go back finally into Aries on February the 14th, 2026. It will conjunct Neptune in Aries. I have done a video on that, guys, so please, if you can, check it out. So yeah, it's a very significant time. So Saturn being in Aries, it is, it usually stays in the Saturn being in the sign, it usually stays there for like nearly 3.5 years. And with Saturn being in Aries, it's going to be from 2025 slash 2026 to 2028. Then it will move into Taurus. Now, with it being in Aries, because it's cardinal, it's very, very significant. It's very, very important, very, very potent. When Saturn goes into like the cardinal signs, like Aries, Cancer, especially Capricorn, it heralds like a new change because these are leaderships. It heralds like a new beginning. Even though Saturn being there, it does restrict it. It still does. But still, it's very, very like, there's like shifts that are happening, like on a worldwide scale. Even shifts within ourselves, especially personally. So when Saturn is in Aries, it is Saturn rules like structure. It's very rigid. It's very much about values. It's very like old school. It's very traditional. It does things the right way. It doesn't cut any corners. And you got Aries, which is a fire sign. It's Mars. It's very spontaneous. It's very like head first. It's very gong ho. It's very me, myself, and I. It's very do it by the self. It's very fiery. It's very energetic. So when you get these two energies together, it doesn't really mesh well. So it's like these, it's like it's like the Saturn's in like the Mars house, and it doesn't really like it's just crazy. But it is a time of new beginnings. The most important thing that we as a collective or as people should know, that is a time of a new beginning. We've ended a 30-year cycle when it was in Pisces, but although it's going to go back in Pisces, we're still, we're ending a 30-year cycle that began in 1993. And it ended in 1996. It began in 1993, ended in 1996. But regardless, we are ending a 30-year cycle. With Saturn being in Aries now, we are beginning a new cycle that started in 1996 and it ended in 1999. Now, the 90s, as you guys know, I'm very obsessed with the past and planets. Generation was a very volatile time. It wasn't an easy time. Yes, there were great things that happened in fashion and music, and but on the whole, it was very, very volatile. Okay, and with Saturn being there in Aries, there were new beginnings that happened, especially when it came to like starting up things, starting up businesses. There were brand new startups. So, even like when it came to things like the arts and everything, there was, when Saturn went into Aries, like bloody hell, 30 years ago, I was a teenager, and the shift was definite. One thing with Saturn being in Aries is that it's a renewed sense that we can do this. If you ended something when it was in Pisces, when it goes into Aries, it's like, yeah, I can actually start this now. There are some of us will actually feel that we have to end like a project or business, whatever, but some of us could actually feel that we can start it. This energy can bring us still trying to be very competitive, very mindless, being headstrong, fiery arguments. This can also see a lot of us, like, doing, like, we're all going to be feeling that Aries energy, guys. The shadow side of it as well, but Saturn will definitely be putting a restriction on that, but still, the main thing, and I think a lot of us will actually enjoy, is that we are pushing through. It's a time to be opening up to new possibilities, new ways of doing things, new ways of seeking things, now that especially Neptune is there, because these two will conjunct each other a little bit this year, but more next year. We can see a lot of us like doing, of course, there can be definitely clashes, guys. There could be a lot of worldly things, things to do with like war and guns, and but on a personal level, there can be definitely clashes, because Saturn is like asking us to like do the right thing, do it properly, and Aries is very, very rebellious. So we're going to see that sort of like push and pull, that square and that battle. So expect that happening. Expect to see arguments. Expect to see people fighting for what they believe in. I actually feel, and I'm picking up that people are going to be, not just because Neptune's in Aries, is that the eyes will be opened, and the people will speak, or you yourself will actually feel brave enough to speak, because Aries is a brave sign. Although yes, we can still feel a bit like in a way, we have to do it the right way. We still are going to be having that fiery energy going on. But again, like I said, this is a great for pioneering. This is a great pioneering spirit that's going to be happening for a lot of us. I feel that a lot of us are going to be dusting off the cobwebs from 30 years ago and just rehashing it, restarting it. One thing that's so powerful about Saturn being in Aries, guys, is that it is showing us, if something didn't work 30 years ago, it can work now, because the energies are different. We have Neptune in Aries, which is very, very rare. When it conjuncts, we also have Pluto in Aquarius. We also have Uranus going into Gemini. So these energies are very rare. The last time when Saturn was in Aries, we did have Capricorn. It did square Capricorn. We had Neptune, Uranus in Capricorn. It squared it. Then we had, which was very, it was very nice, very mild. We had Pluto into Sagittarius, which helped. But also we also had Uranus then going into Aquarius. So it did help. But once again, because we had two major conjunctions in Capricorn, we had the Uranus Neptune, and we also had the Saturn Neptune conjunction into Capricorn. That carried through for the last 36 years. So even though these energies did support Aries, that Saturn in Aries, that conjunction that happened in 89, it carried through for the next 36 years. So it didn't really help, guys. So now that the energies are different, we're going to be feeling different, and that's the main thing. Other themes that we can see with Saturn being into Aries, guys, is that, this is about leadership as well. And, Capricorn is the same, leadership, responsibility, but it's more earthy. But Aries is one that's more like, it's like fire. So I feel that we can see a lot of us be doing that. And I see that we could also be doing things on, because Aries is very much about being individual. So I do see a lot of us doing things on an individual basis as well. But of course, because this also can be very frustrating. Let's talk about the good things that we could do. It's time that we can like do things that are creative, or starting new projects and new businesses. Okay, something that can give us tangible benefits, basically. This is a time for us to be brave, be bold, be brave, take charge, not being afraid to go our own way, because this can happen. A lot of us can still feel a bit like, should I not? It's like, no, let's do it. You want to wait another 30 years and do it, or do you want to do it now? So it's about taking the lead, taking charge, and being bold and brave. I can see a lot more of us being, a lot of more of us being much more creative. A lot more, I think there's a lot more passion. A lot more people are going to be more dynamic. Of course, Saturn is about structure, routines, very traditional. So I feel that whatever we're going to be starting, we have to finish it. We have to be dedicated. We have to be responsible. We have to, sort of like establish some type of routine in order to, because we're going to be pioneering here. So we have to try and have like a routine, because Aries is such a sign that does things very fast. It gets bored easily, it's very spontaneous. We have to be mindful of that can happen. So Saturn is giving us that structure to, you know what, yeah, you're starting something brand new which no one's heard of. You need to complete it. Okay. Because remember, this carries through for the next 30 odd years. So yes, other things that can happen is that a lot of us can feel that our temper is rising. We can feel very frustrated. We can feel very angry because things are moving slowly. Saturn can dampen it to a point, but still, I feel that the fiery energy is still going to be there. I feel that also. I think especially, in this country like London, UK, there's not a lot of emphasis on people being entrepreneurs. So I feel that that can be a thing that could be happening, guys, or people starting to think, you know what, I actually want to do something for myself. I feel that that might be a thing, because this is going to be hitting this country's seventh house. And the seventh house is also to do with like partnerships, business contracts, marriages. And that's going to be a major turning point that's going to be happening. But also, there can also be a lot of us feeling, again, like I said before, fearless, but also it can, Saturn can sort of put a damper on things. It can make us feel like quite down, quite depressed, quite rigid, like we can't move, like we feel very stuck. So I feel a lot of that could definitely come in, but we definitely do have to like sort of like push through into, pushing through to be that sort of like pioneering spirit. But yeah, but like I said before, because this is a fire sign, we can still see some of that like aggression coming up, especially when we are being pursuing our goals or persevering and things are not working out as quickly as it should be. There can be a lot of that coming up. If we go through like the history of Saturn being in Pisces, Aries, it was 1908 to 1911, 1937 to 1914. What I was going to say, a lot of you are going through your Saturn return. Some of you are going through your third Saturn return. Especially if you're like Pluto in Leo, you're going through your Aries Saturn return. So yeah, so 1937 to 1940. Also if you're Pluto Virgo as well, and if you're Pluto Scorpio, and Scorpio and Sagittarius, you're going through your Saturn return. So yes, so 1967 to 1969. If we're looking back on that, there was like the FBI was actually created in 1908, yeah, and in 1967, 1969, JFK was killed, was assassinated, and Martin Luther King and Robert F.K. Jr. in 1968. So it was a very explosive time, guys. Then we had Saturn in Aries in 1996 and 1997. I remember this. There was a Dublin school massacre. There was a gunman basically went into a shooting spree in Dublin in March 1996, and he killed 16 children and their teacher. And Aries rules guns, it rules machines. And this man, his name was Thomas Hamilton. He was 43, and it was really bad, guys. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was so shocking. It was in Scotland, but it was so shocking because we've never had this we've never seen this like in the UK or in Scotland before. So yeah, this was very, very shocking. There were laws put in place after that did happen, guys. And then yeah, so at night that was the last time when Saturn was in Aries. So even though there were some things, guys, that were very shocking, in a way they were pioneering because they never happened before. So yeah, it's just very, very sad. I'm just going back to that time, guys. But anyway, yeah, so like I said, a lot of things were very shocking to a lot of us, but they were also different, but they're also pioneering because things were put into place. And I think because I also think because of, like I said, because of this conjunction that happened in Capricorn in that time, things didn't move like it should. Things didn't shift like it should, especially in this country. This country is a Capricorn country. Its sun's in Capricorn in the fourth house. So it's unwilling to bend, it's unwilling to move. But now, I know that the progress sun of this country is Leo. It's very different now. And I personally am looking forward to the slow changes that are happening. One thing with Saturn in Aries is going to show us, guys, is that if you don't change, regardless wherever Saturn is, but with Aries being a cardinal, the first cardinal sign, it's telling me that even though there's going to be resistance to change, change will come, regardless if we like it or not. The change can happen within our personal life. It can happen within our professional. It can happen with our friendships, relationships. It can also happen within our bodies. So if we don't strive for change during this, because even though it's, like I said, it's not the best, it's detriment. It's still that the energies are different. It's not like how it was 30 years ago. Yet 30 years ago was very stagnated. This time is going to be more movement that's happening. Yeah. And even though we're going to still feel that sort of restriction, we still can move because of the Pluto in Aquarius and Neptune in Aries and Uranus in Gemini. The movement is here. And even though I still, we're going to start seeing restrictions with, remember it's Saturn, regardless, things are going to come thick and fast as well, you know. Speaking of the body, guys, Aries does rule the physical body. Yeah, remember it's the first sign, it rules the head, it rules the body, like Virgo. So one thing about Saturn being here is that, Saturn, again, favorite word, restriction. So we can start to feel a little bit restricted in our body because Saturn rules like the skeletal structure, rules the joints, the knees. But when it comes to like us taking care of ourselves, which I feel a lot of us will be doing anyway, because one thing about Saturn being in the first sign of the zodiac is that it brings a brand new cycle from 30 years ago. So we're going through a brand new cycle for the next 30 odd years. And between it being in Aries and between Neptune being in Aries and Saturn being in Aries, how we are working out is going to be very different. We know that we are doing like the high intensity, the jump squats, the burpees, all of that. We're seeing like people trying to have like this body that's not attainable. It's not natural to us. But now people are starting to work out that, I actually need muscles. I actually need, to use weights, use my body weights or just weights at the gym. But still, there's sort of like stagnation. We're not really sure where we're going. Saturn being there, Neptune being there, it's gonna be changing it up. We're gonna have to listen to our bodies more, And with Saturn being here for the next 30 odd years, guys, we are gonna have to be a bit more disciplined and have a bit more structure. This is not about quick, yeah. Because Aries is like we need quick. I need quick results now. I need it now. And yes, we're all, I think a lot of us will feel like frustrated, but this is about long term. So I think whatever we're going to be doing with our bodies, it's going to be for the long term. It's not going to be for the short term. We have to definitely be patient as well, but persevere. Think of the long term goals, not think of, oh, I'm going to look now. It's think of what can it do to benefit my energy and my focus for my future. That I feel that the exercises that we're going to be doing is going to be helping us to sustain energy for the long term. It's not about burning out our bodies, not about burning out, so that we have no energy for the evening. It's about, I need to do this type of workout so that in the evening I've still got a little bit of energy before I go to bed. I feel that we're going to be changing the way we eat as well. This is a brand new beginning to changing the way we eat. You know, if even if we go back, anyway, I'll talk about it afterwards. I feel definitely this is a time to be not do, try to be as motivated as you can and also be as disciplined as we can, not cutting corners. If we're going to be doing anything different, we have to, I think it's a great time to be like reading up about it before we start it, not just jumping on, like, 'cause what we're seeing now, we're doing a lot of trends jumping. So this is like, no, we can't be doing trend jumping. We got to do something that actually suits our body. This is about individual as well. So I feel some of us are going to be doing individual workouts that's structured and tailored for ourselves. It's not going to be about doing what everyone else is doing. It has to be very different. But it is about also us listening to ourselves. And it's not about you have to do it. It's just like, I feel that we're just going to be drawn to do this. But yeah, things are not going to be like how it used to be. I feel that, like I said again, I feel that when it comes to fitness, it's going to be a bit more detailed. It's going to be like, it's more like, there's going to be different personal trainers, guys. There's going to be, how the whole system of is working out is going to be very different. Especially in terms of like personal trainers. We're going to see even things like, if we go across the board, things like the army is going to be changing. There's going to be change of leadership. There's going to be change of worldly things. Yeah, even like machines and all of that. But with when it comes to like especially using our body, I see that there's gonna be lots of changes and new structures beginning when it comes to, like I said, personal trainers, when it comes to gym equipment, when it comes to machinery, when it comes to physiotherapists. It's gonna actually be the Pluto in Sagittarius that's gonna be doing that change. So yes. Sorry about that, guys. This is a baby. Yes, there's going to be a lots of things like, physio. Like I said, Pluto and Sagittarius will be doing that change anyway. But we are also, because of Neptune being there in Aries, it's about being mindful and being listening to our bodies. So things like, which I've actually started to redo now, is like yoga, tai chi. This will help us to connect to our body. This will definitely help us to connect to our body. Things like, I think a lot of us will be prioritizing a lot more of resting. As you can see, I'm not resting there, but still, it's a little baby. Yes, so resting, not doing like the high crazy things that some of us do. Yes, I feel that Saturn is about us rebuilding, like rebuilding our body, rebuilding, with the Aries, rebuilding our muscles. So things like lunges, that's going to be very different, guys. Push-ups, all of that. Squats, they're going to be very different because Saturn rules the knees. And I feel a lot of us, whatever we used to be doing, it's no longer going to be working. It can affect us. So things like walking and hiking, it's like moving your body, because it can feel very tight and restricted, but in a different way. And it can still be that sort of like high, sort of high intensity, but just different. Again, like I said, rest is very important. So getting our sleep, getting our like yoga and tai chi. I also feel some of us are going to be doing like the yoga from the South Asian collective, because they are the originators. I'm actually doing a lot of South Asian yoga. The hatha, it's not hatha, it's hatha yoga. I feel that they because they are the pioneers. When we're talking pioneering here, because they're the pioneers of yoga. I feel it. I feel more grounded when I do their yoga. I don't feel like I'm not injured as well. So I feel like some of us may actually be drawn to do like what the originators do, but the pioneers did. Um, you know, Speaking of pioneers, when Saturn was in Aries the last time, between 90, what transpired from 1996 till now, it was a brand new beginning in terms of like hip hop. So like you had P Diddy, which is in the news now, but he heralding like Ghetto Fabulous, and that was like the beginning when Saturn was in Aries. It did herald in like a new type of hip hop. It was very glamorous. People aspired to have that sort of lifestyle. We also had the Fugees as well, which I love. The Fugees. Um, Unfortunately, Tupac passed, so did Biggie in that time. Fashion was like loud, with like a lot of loud colors. It was like ghetto fabulous, and people talking about crystal and having like their diamonds. Even like the hair was very glamorous. Like Little Kim, she came out as well. Mary J. Blige came out with her third studio album as well. It was called Share My World, and my sister actually got that, and we blasted it. But yeah, the look was very like ghetto fabulous, guys. Like it was like slick, it was loud. If we're seeing what's happening now with the fashion, it was nothing compared to what it was there. Remember, I'm a teen of the 90s. I remember all of this. Everything is just being recycled. So even like the nails, guys, was like very like, it was orange and yellows, and you know yeah, there was a lot more female rappers coming out then. But yeah, if you look back, if you guys can like Google Little Kim, what she was wearing back in the when she came out in the 90s, that was like Saturn in Aries. And even like Puff Daddy, what he came out with, a lot of artists. Puff Daddy's song with Sting came out as well, went to number one. What else transpired in that time? Because even though we can talk about what happened in those 3 years, remember it brings a new change from 1996 to 2025, 26. Okay, so what else happened? We had the 9/11. Okay, we had like the dot-com era. We had people started using like social media, using the internet. I actually had a Yahoo account when this came out as well. Yeah, there was a lot of where I live in London, there was a lot of shootings. Again, once again, this was very new. This happened like in 1999. We had like solar eclipses, which was very big then. Other themes that happened in the night, that's what I can pick up in the 90s. It was very, very much up and down. Obviously, in terms of music and fashion, that was like popping. Also, let's not forget we had like the whole Britpop era, which actually started in 1993 when Saturn was in Aquarius and Pisces. It still was ongoing. You had the Oasis was big, Blur was big. Well, the Suede, they got bigger because they had like new stars, They had new members in their band, so they actually got like their biggest hit called the Beautiful Ones. The Spice Girls came out. Yeah, we can't forget the Spice Girls came out. They heralded a new change for like girl power. Again, something brand new, very different. They were very loud. They were very proud. They all look individual. They were for each of them were for everyone. What else? What else? What else? There was also, because I'm talking about entertainment here, because entertainment was very, very important then here, guys. The 1996, we did have the LA. It was the Olympics, the LA Olympic. It was one for me, one of the best, because we had like those the 5 gymnastic stars who heralded a different change. Even though people doing things differently individually, they'll still do things. They're still heralding change. Okay, so we had the Olympics then. UK, when they were in the Olympics, they actually did really well, even though we had to go back to the drawing board, and we had to like basically tell the board that if you invest more in the Olympics, this is what can happen. Because they didn't actually believe in the Olympics, guys. Can you believe it? They didn't mind the medals, but they didn't want to put the work in. There was a lot of push for this to happen. We saw a lot of that actually transpiring in 2004, when there was money put in, because there was no money put into the Olympics in the UK. So this happened like in 96. So yeah, the Spice Girls were like the biggest thing to come out in this country. We also had some other girl bands that came out. We had All Saints, who came out in 1997. The Spice Girls were the mixed race band, although they weren't the first mixed race band. We had a band called Eternal, who came out when Saturn was in Aquarius. It was 3 black women, 1 white girl. They split up. In the white girl, her name was Louise Nerding, but now her name is Louise Redknapp. She left, and then she went to be a solo act, and she got like her biggest hit called Naked in 1996. We had Eternal, that band. It was Kelly, Vernie, and Esther. They got their first #1 during Saturn in Aries. Yeah, with BB Winans. Okay, so things can be very explosive, but they can work out in the end. But also, like I said, Louise, she also got successful, but not she never got a #1 like these girls. So they were the first mixed race band when Saturn was in Aquarius. But when the Spice Girls came out, we had Mel B, who is mixed race. And after then you got these 4 other white girls. Then we had All Saints. There was you had Shaznay Lewis. She's like the talent basically, but she's like the main songwriter. And then you had the 3 other white girls. So Saturn also rules to a point race, and it also does rule that, this might even sound controversial, which actually isn't, because if you study this, you'll know that, in order to get ahead, you have to align yourself with someone that appears like they're higher ups. So I think that these bands sort of it sort of, not necessarily, but it just felt like, and I think now we're seeing that, some people think that in order to be successful, you have to just align with white, or just have to align with black. But it doesn't really matter. I think you just have to align with people. And I think we're going to see that you don't have to do this in order to be this, because we've ended that cycle, and we're going for a brand new one now. So yeah, it's sad, but that's just the way the world is, guys, and that's all I know, and that's all we know. But the brand new cycle that we're all entering to is going to be very shocking, but it's also going to be quite exciting as well. So that's what happened. But I love those bands, especially because they were in the UK as well. And it also was a bit more potent because, Shaznay and Mel B, they're Caribbean descent as well. But yes, so the Spice Girls actually sort of split in 1998 when Saturn was in Aries. All Saints still carried through, and they actually split up when Saturn was in Taurus, even though they actually came up when Saturn was in Aquarius in 1993. But yes, I digress. It's really interesting going back to the past, don't you think, guys? So yes, that happened. So that was like during like the 90s. Obviously, there was a lot of bands actually started to split up because of like influences, whether it was drink, drugs, or just the pressure of being successful, guys. Because the 90s, even though it was a very hard period, it was a very fast period. It was like bam, 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 go, go, go. Then in like in the noughties, we, like I said, we saw 9/11. We saw like the fashion was changing, like people got a bit more glamorous, and it was more to do with like people had to attain to be this sort of like live this lifestyle. Celebrity culture also changed. Let's not forget, guys, Destiny's Child also came out in 90s as well. They had their first big hit in Saturn in Aries. Okay, we cannot forget Destiny's Child because I love Destiny's Child. Um, yes. So in the noughties, we had another girl band called Girls Aloud. They had a great song called Sound of the Underground. One of the band members actually passed away like nearly 4 years ago. Sarah Harding, rest in peace, darling. Um, Yes, so they came out in 2002. This was also the beginning, guys, in the noughties of the pop era of was it Simon Cowell? He had like this what is it? Pop idol, pop star. That was like the beginning of this. It to the outside, because these kids these guys are from my generation. To the outside, it helped because you wanted to be a successful. This was like the fastest way, but in hindsight, looking back, and even now, a lot of people were mentally damaged. But still, this was like the beginning of something shiny and brand new. Big Brother came out as well in this country in the year 2000 during Saturn's brand new beginning of Aries cycle. So we had Big Brother, we had like these pop idols. Um, what else did we have? My mind's just gone blank, but yeah, those things that come to mind. Fashion wise, like I said, it was very sort of like glamorous. It was very like look at me type of thing. Even hair had highlights. It was straightened. When it came to like working out, guys, it was very like hardcore. It was the beginning of the size zero trend as well. Okay, so you see what happened when Saturn went into Aries last time. Working out was very different. Even though people say, "Oh, Saturn only stays for 3 years," yes, it does, but it heralds in a new 30-year cycle change. So people wanting to be very thin, it was actually it was quite a hard time because if your body wasn't like that, you felt pressured into it. We also saw the pressure of people giving birth and slimming down very quickly. Okay, dangerous, very very dangerous. But what can we do? That was the thing then, guys. Um, Beyonce, she went solo from Destiny's Child in 2002. She had a song called Work It Out, brilliant. Of course, guys, we can't forget we had Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera. They came out when Saturn was in Aries. I'm so sorry. They still were very successful, although Britney in the mid 2000s, she just needed a break from the industry. Christina Aguilera, she also was very, very successful throughout the whole 2000s. We had Justin Timberlake and NSYNC. They were very, very successful as well. We saw the rise of the boy bands and the boy and the girl band in the noughties. Yeah, it was sort of like stickily sweet in the noughties, guys. It was very stickily sweet, like very nice, and you know it was like you have to try to attain to have it. Obviously there was a lot more that happened, but yeah, the noughties was something else. Then we had the 2010s, and again, I've said this before, guys, there's a lot of stagnation in that decade. There was nothing moving, nothing was changing. You only benefited from that generation if you were from that generation of Pluto Scorpio and Pluto Virgo. But yes, so these, I feel that they were very, very important. Obviously, when we go back to this, like last decade, we had like the Me Too movement, we had Black Lives Matter, we had like there was riots, there was protests. Also, let's not forget, we in the noughties we did have the first black president or mixed race president in the United States. So I'm just doing like a little back and forth here, guys, but it's just to show you that, you know, when Saturn goes into like a cardinal sign, it heralds it like in a big change. And this change can be very shocking, can be very violent, can be very fast, very creative, very pioneering, very fashion forward. But also it can still be there's some restrictions that's going on there. Okay. So yeah, even you guys, if you look back on what happened 30 years ago till now, you'll see, wow, that happened. I can't believe that happened. Um, but yeah, I mean, that's my 2 cents worth on Saturn being in Aries. I know it was very long, guys. This video had to be long because it's such an important time. Even when Saturn goes into Cancer, guys, that's going to be important, and Libra and so on. So yes, guys, yeah, very, very important time. I mean, am I looking forward to it? Yes, but I'm also gonna see, because you just never know. Remember, we're dealing with, we got that Neptune and we got Aries there. These energies are very different. So yes, guys, that is my 2 cents worth on Saturn in Aries. And let's listen out for the signs now. Hello, Aries. How are you? So, Saturn's coming into your sign for the next 3.5 years. So, this is a new beginning. I think for you, Aries, it's really good to look back on what happened in 1996. Those of you who are old enough, some of you may have been teenagers, some of you may have been young adults coming into your own. Also, Aries, look back what happened when Saturn went into Libra, and we're going all the way back to 2012 to I'll say 2011 to 2013. That's when Saturn was in Libra, and that was to do with like your relationships. But now, you know, it's in your sign. We're beginning a brand new 30-year cycle. So some of you are going through your Saturn return as well. So this is a brand new time. But I think definitely if if you're obviously old enough to look back what happened 30 years ago, or even, in 2011, which was like nearly 14 years ago, look what happened then concerning your relationships. Because some of these themes can be making a sort of like a grand entrance now. Saturn being in your first house, Aries, I can see some of you being very, it's a brand new time. It was in your 12th before. And, some of you may have felt really tired, very restricted, very, dreamy. But a lot of you had to work on releasing and work on certain types of karma. But now it's in your first, which is to do with, yourself, your body, your home, your career, your family, relationships. And some of the themes I'm picking up is that some of you are going to be setting stones to be making like a brand new entrance. Saturn can also impact your health in a good way. It really does depend. Some of you may feel quite energetic, like, you know what, I'm going to start really taking care of myself because it's a brand new 30-year cycle. And some of you may be trying to do the same thing you did before, and you might feel quite restricted. Saturn rules the bones. It rules like the skeletal system, rules the joints, your knees, rules the teeth as well. So this is a great time for, if you haven't been taking it, this is a great time to start. I'm not a doctor, just giving you like some advice, because I went through Saturn in my first, to like really, take any, supplements, like things to do with like calcium, not trying, because you're a sign that's to do things fast, but just really try and take it easy, because you may not find that your energy is as high. You may want to be a bit more cautious in your dealings, especially when it's concerning like your physical body. So things like, yoga, like maybe Pilates, could be walking, fast walking, Some of you may not have the energy to be doing like that sprinting, you know, because we're going for a brand new time, all of us. With Saturn being here, like I said in the beginning, we're going to be seeing like a sort of like a reversal in how we treat ourselves and how we are working out, how we're eating. So you may be doing, some of you may be guided to be doing things differently. Okay, and Saturn rules your 10th. So this is a time of new beginnings. Some of you will see that, you know, your career is going to be reconstructed. From if you've been doing like a same job 30 years ago, you may be doing something different now. You can also see like your, you know, your general, like you're going to be the star of the show. So try and be good, Aries. Try and be good. Some of you could also see like your general, your whole life changing, especially when it comes to like your career. Some of you may get married. Some of you could also, if you're looking to start a family, that could happen as well. Some of you could also see that, you know, you want to commit to a brand, you know, your career, a brand new career. There can be some restrictions there. You may find that you may have to put a lot more work in when it comes to anything you're going to be starting. And it may feel boring, may feel mundane. But remember, you know, when we have a brand new cycle, yeah, it's going to carry on for the next 30 years. So choose wisely. You know, Saturn is that taskmaster. It's very karmatic. So if you know, whatever you choose, just know that it's going to carry for the next 30 odd years. Okay? So yeah, but essentially it is about, you know, yourself. I feel that some of you may be doing things a little bit differently or thinking about doing things differently. But this is a serious time. The card you got is the Fool card. And the Fool card is a brand new beginning. You may not know where you're going. You may just want to just make the wind take you. But essentially, there are new horizons happening for you, Aries, new beginnings happening. Some of these are very exciting. Some of these you have to honestly try, just be a little bit more cautious in your dealings within yourself, within your career, your home life, relationships. Some of you may want to just put your head first and do things fast, and it's just like, yeah, that's fine, but really and truly just bide your time, take your time, look through contracts, look through things properly, try and do things a different way. I think Saturn being in your sign is very powerful, Aries, because, you know, like I said, you know, I remember the last time Saturn was in Aries and it was a very powerful time. Obviously, there were other planets that were involved, like Neptune was in Capricorn in your 10th house. So you may have felt a little bit, you may have not felt great. What else did we have? We had Neptune in Capricorn. Then it went into Aquarius. So obviously friends and your goals did change. But when it went straight in, Neptune was in Capricorn, and also we had conjunctions in Capricorn as well. So some of you may have felt like, yeah, I can do this, I can do that, but you may have also never felt like that things were great. You may have felt things were just a bit really hard, but Neptune is in your sign, which is making it more powerful. You have during this time, Uranus was in Capricorn as well. Then it went into Aquarius, but still it was in Capricorn. So again, it may have been hard, but now it's going to go into Gemini, which is your 3rd house. And yeah, it's going to be, you know, during when Saturn's in your sign, it's going to go through your sign, it's going to go through Taurus, it's going to go through Gemini. But still, it's going to be the hardness is going to lessen a bit, because of also Pluto is in your 11th house. When it was in your sign 30 years ago, Pluto was into Sagittarius, which was actually really good for you, but it's going to be more lessened. You know, I feel that you're going to be a bit more free, but you still have to be mindful, and that's what the Fool card is saying as well. Even though new beginnings are arising, you still have to be a bit more cautious as well. But nevertheless, new beginning for you. Hey Taurus, how are you? So Taurus, we have Saturn going into your 12th house. Saturn rules your 9th. So Taurus, a lot of you, you know, how was Saturn in your 11th? Yeah, because now it's in your 12th. So it's a time to relax. We'll try to relax. You're still going to be busy because Pluto is in your, you know, is in your 10th house. But, you know, again, I say for all the signs, look back what happened 30 years ago. Look what happened 14 years ago when Saturn was in your 12th and when Saturn was in your 8th house. Okay? You know, there was changes that happened. You know, again, there were, you know, Neptune was in your 9th house at that time. Then also, yeah, Neptune was in your 9th house with Uranus and Capricorn, Neptune and Capricorn being there. So I feel for a lot of you Tauruses, you know, obviously looking back then, there was a lot of themes to do with like your belief system. It may have been ebbing and flowing. You may have come and went. Even like in your dream state, you know, you may have like thought about a lot of things, and some of the things came to fruition, some didn't. With Saturn being in your 12th again, 30 years later, it's a different time. You know, you got Pluto in your 10th. You have Uranus, which is going into your 2nd. You know, you also have Neptune, which is in your 12th. So this can feel quite dreamy for a lot of you. A lot of you could be dreaming and thinking of like what type of projects you want to do. You know, with Saturn, with Aries being like about the body and that, I feel some of you may be taking up a type of like workout regime. You may want to do it alone. You may want to do it in like a smallish group. You may want to do it differently. You may want to start taking up like dancing, meditating. This is a great time to be doing it. You know, because this is about the mental health as well. You may, although a lot of you Tauruses are going to still be ambitious, you may not have the energy to always do all your projects. So I think this is a great time to be working on like projects that you are really passionate about. Nothing wrong in doing it by yourself, because Aries is about a pioneering spirit, which is to do with the self. So yeah, you may be guided, you know what? I just going to do what I need to do, but I'm also going to work on certain things that I enjoy doing. Don't be afraid to start anything new in a way that you are passionate about. This is the 12th house is not a great time in general to be starting something brand new, but it's also a good time to be if you're doing something that you've continued to do, especially when Saturn was in your 11th, just to keep working at it. Because when it goes into your first house, this is when you're going to be bringing it out. Work with your energy. You know, you may feel that if you work too much, you may burn out quick. So really work with that energy. And yeah, like I said, look what happened 14 years ago when it was in your 8th house. Yeah, I mean, your 8th house was to do with like your, you know, shared resources and everything. Obviously, it's not going to be as harsh as it, long as it's not be as big as it was when it was for Aries, but still, it's also great to look back. Yeah, there can be certain things that come up from the past for you, Aries, Tauruses. It could be about because Saturn rules your 9th house. So you may be looking at old belief systems. You could be looking at if you thinking of, you know, if you went to church 30 years ago, you may go back, or you may look about, you know, what happened when it came to like your beliefs, when it came to like friends and what books you wanted to read. Some of you may even want to study as well, learn like a new language, or it may just sort of like fade away, all of that, like all what you believed in, it may just start to fade away. Like, I don't believe in it anymore. I don't believe in working too hard. I don't believe in going to church. I don't believe in, you know, what's going on in the news. You know, a lot of this is like dissolvement that's going on, and it can feel quite a sad time for a lot of you. A lot of you may have built up a lot of stuff 30 years ago, and now it's just like, I no longer want it. You may want to be alone a lot as well. Yeah, a lot of that is going on. The card you got is a Tower card. And the Tower card, again, it can feel quite scary. It's actually showing me, like what I said, everything you've built up is now going to sort of, it can come crashing down. This card is also saying that this, again, this thing that you have built up that you are no longer having or no longer dissolving. And it can come sudden. It can also be quite painful because change for you is painful. When we see the Tower card, it's a Mars card, so it can feel like things are violent. So just, and also because Saturn, ruled by Mars, is a fire sign, with this card is fire. So just really try and take care of yourself. Try not to be in any situations that you feel can cause you any harm. Again, because you're ending a 30-year cycle, you might come up with people that you used to know that weren't really nice to you. So you may have like sort of not anxiety, but you can feel sort of like angry seeing them. So just take deep breaths. But yeah, this card is definitely essentially saying that there's certain things that are coming to an end, and it can be very fast, especially when Saturn moves in. It's like, wow, bam. Well, what happened here? But and also you may burn bridges with a lot of people as well, because the 12th house is secluded. So you may not want to be around certain people. You may decide that I don't want to be around you. Yes, there could be tears along the way, but it's essential for you to, you're rebuilding yourself. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with feeling bad, but sometimes in life, Taurus, this card is saying sometimes in life we need to like burn bridges with certain things and people and places in order to heal, but in order to build ourselves. Okay. Hey Gemini, how are you? So Gemini, Saturn is in your 11th house. Okay, and Saturn being in your 11th house, it's a great time. Great time, Gemini, for you to this is about your goals, your dream. This is about gains as well. So this is a brand new beginning. You again, Gemini, look back what happened 30 years ago when Saturn was in your 11th house. Certain friends came into your life. Some of them stayed, some of them didn't. Again, there was themes that were going on with Neptune being in your 8th and Uranus being there. So your friendship could have been quite intense. They could have been a little bit weird, crazy. Some of your friends may have come and gone. Some of these people you learnt from. But now it's just like, I think some of you Geminis will see some of your friends that you had 30 years ago, they're going to stay now. Or some of them, they may just go because you want something new. You want something fresh. You want to rebuild yourself. You've come a long way, Gemini. I think this is a time to think about, I've come a long way. There's people that have been in my life that I'm glad they're staying in my life. Or there's people that have come and gone in my life and it wasn't meant to be. Even like your goals. Look back on how your goals were. Did they come into fruition? Did you work towards it in a very good way? If not, this is the time to be doing it. You got Uranus going into your sign during this time. Okay, so this is a big one for you. You also have Pluto, which is in your 9th house. Last time, Pluto was in your 7th house. Okay, that's to do with your relationships. Now it's in your 9th. So you got these energies working for you. So I feel that I can see a lot of you like dusting yourself off. Like, okay, that happened then. This is now. What can I do? What can I build? Who can be around me? I feel a lot of you are going to be asking questions. I feel a lot of you also are not going to be afraid to like distance yourself from certain people. If they're not aligning with you, you may feel bored with them. But still, you're going to be wanting to align with something fresh, something brand new. Pluto being in your 9th house is like, okay, you may meet people, you may travel now and meet people along the way, and that you can learn from them. You could be doing like you could be learning a new language, because the 11th house is about building up yourself as well, aligning yourself with certain people and groups. Yeah, you could be from different creeds and cultures, especially Uranus being in your first house during this time. It's like, you know what, I'm different now, you know. You're physically, you're going to be feeling different. Some of you may definitely decide to take up a new workout regime. Definitely could be in a group, but it could be a different type of workout. It could be a workout that no one's ever heard of. You could be making up, or the group or association you're aligning with could be making this up, you know. Brand new time of Geminis. I feel that this is a better time now than it was last time. Okay. I feel that a lot of you are, you know, Saturn rules your 8th. So this is about you transforming who you're aligning with. This is about you transforming like your goals and dreams. Your goals and dreams then were different. Now it's brand new. Now it's like next level. Even a next level that you never even envisioned. With Saturn being in Aries, just for a short stay, you got you got Jupiter in your first house. So yeah, you're gonna be very busy. You're gonna be talking and communicating with different people, lots of emails and signing contracts. I feel this is a great manifestating time with a lot of you. Yes, there can be some restrictions. Some of you may look back on certain themes and people that you had in the past, and you know there may have been some hurt along the way, but you are still transforming yourself. And I feel a lot of this is a great time to don't feel weird when you talk about any hurts that you had with certain people. Go for it. Yeah. The card that you got is the Knight of Cups, and actually a nice card for you. It's a it's a time where the Knight of Cups, whenever I see a cup for Gemini, it feels a bit weird because, you know, you guys are sensitive in your own way, but this is definitely about action. Yeah. And this is about you pursuing your goals, but this card is also about recklessness too. So you're doing your goals and dreams and you're doing that whole thing differently. So do it in a different way. Again, like Aries, just be mindful of who you surround yourself with. Be mindful of any doing things too fast and not finishing it. This is a time to be bold. This is a time to seize a lot of opportunities that will come your way, because I feel opportunities can come left, right, and center. You can also be one of those. I feel that some of you can also be one of those Geminis that, you know, when opportunities do come, are they the ones that you actually want, or are they things that you just want for now? Okay, so just, you know, and also I feel that with Saturn being in your with Saturn being in your 11th house, you are I'm picking up something. I'm picking up is like love. So I feel that if any of you are single, you can find love in a friendship group, but you might feel a little bit like, I'm not really sure. That's what I'm picking up. But yes, but again, come back to the Knight of Cups. Sorry, it is very much about a love card as well. But yeah, I feel that you're going to be falling in love with your goals now, falling in love with, you know, who you are surrounding yourself with, and loving what you're doing instead of just being like, might as well. Just this card is definitely telling me to fall in love with what you are doing, not just do it just because someone else is doing it. Really love it. And I feel that you're going to be doing things very differently. You know, even if it comes to like your relationship, you can be doing things very differently. It's not like how it was back in the day. It's going to be different. Yeah, so like open your heart to new things and people that are coming your way, okay? Hello, Cancer. How are you? So, Cancer, Saturn's in your 10th house. This is a big one for you and all the cardinal signs. Again, especially the cardinals. Look back what happened 30 years ago. You know, you had Uranus, which was in your 7th house. and you had Neptune there. You also had, yeah, those were the big ones, Uranus and Neptune. Also look back 14 years ago when Saturn was in your 4th house. There was changes that happened within your 4th house, you know, when Saturn was in Libra. But especially what happened 30 years ago. And you Cancer, you guys can look back all 50 years ago, even if you weren't born. Yeah. So it was a big time. Not only was it about your career, your status, your job, but it was also about your relationships. You know, so 30 years ago, some of you probably started a new job, was wanting to be very independent. You know, your relationship could have changed, like you, especially if you was a teenager, you may have decided that you didn't want to be in your, you know, your teenage love could have split up, or your marriage could have broken up, or it could have been solidified. It could have, like, you could have gotten married 30 years ago. And now it's like, do I want to be with that person 30 years later? You know, 30 years, you're still with that person, you're looking at them a bit different. You may have felt really ambitious then, but then you had kids. So obviously 10th house is to do with family. So you may have like looked after your kids, and now 30 years later, they've all grown up. What about you now? Okay, even like your career and job, you could have been like a CEO or a boss, and now 30 years later, you're still there. Are you happy? Okay. Again, like Aries, when Uranus was in your 7th house, there could have been definitely changes within your relationship. You could have found out your partner was working against you. There could have been cheating, or you know, you may have believed in this your partnership, and you know, they may have done something dodgy and you didn't want to believe it, but it was too late, and that could have been business as well. You know, I'm thinking about when, you know, some Cancers also, especially if you started a job 30 years ago, did you get paid? Were you working to the bone and weren't getting paid your worth? Now it's different. Now it's different. 30 years later, especially if you're older, some of you may have had kids, especially during Pluto and Capricorn, because 14 years ago, Pluto was in your 7th house and you got Saturn in your 4th. So some of you may have had kids, and now it's like the kids are all a bit more grown. I need to start focusing on myself. I need to start focusing on my family. A very ambitious time. Some of you may, and I feel that a lot of it will happen. A lot of you will start, for everyone, work from home, set up your own business. Ambitious time to know what you want within a relationship. So if it ain't going anywhere, you can decide, you know what, I want to divorce, or I want to separate. You live here, I live here with the kids, or whatever. Or you may decide that I want to be in a relationship, I want to get married, I want to have kids, but I also want my career. This is a great time to be starting a new career, Cancer. This is a great time to be, you know, if you want to do like a home business, if you want to do something in a partnership, this is a great time. Saturn rules your 7th. So, you know, you could work with your partner. You can find like a new business, work within a business with someone or some people. Your career can grow. Your money can grow. You know, you got Pluto in your 8th. So this is about shared resources. This is about transformation. You know, so your resources or your partners will change the boat. You also, during this time, you're going to have Jupiter, which is in your sign. So this is a big, massive time. You know, like I said before, whenever a sign transits another sign, you got to look at all the aspects to the other signs that are happening. And that carries for the next 30 years. Okay, some people don't believe, but I personally believe it, you know. So what we're having here is that we're having the Jupiter square Saturn, yeah. That's going to carry for the next 30 years. We're also going to have the Saturn Neptune conjunction in your 10th. We're also going to have Jupiter in your sign. We're also going to have, you know, Pluto in your 8th. We also have, you know, those are like the main themes that's going on. So to a point, you're going to be shining as well. Some of you who, again, who haven't started a family, this could happen because Jupiter's in your sign, or you could have like a kid. Some of you could have another child, which is could be quite shocking to you. You're probably thinking, I'm done with kids. You never know. A lot of 40 and even 50-year-olds are still having kids, guys. But yeah, there could be another child that comes. But this can also enhance your career in some way. You could find like a new career. I do see a lot of Cancer's money and resources growing, and that's probably due to what you're starting, what you're doing. But yeah, I feel that if you are looking for someone to like invest in you, this could happen. Yes, this does square you, so you may find that you're prioritizing your career more than your family. Even if you start to have kids, or you have another child, or you're married, or you can definitely find that your relationship is going to be changing, but you're going to be focusing more on building. If you didn't build last time, you're going to be building now. It feels more of a case of, I need to do this now. And I think because Jupiter's in your sign, even like more so. Yeah. So it can be quite harsh because you've got a lot placed on you. And especially if you're like wanting to be the main breadwinner, like your partner may want to stay at home and you start working. But it's also an exciting time because you are starting a new business. You're starting a new career. Again, really take care of yourself, because the 10th house is like the bodies. Take care of yourself, like your bones, your teeth, and all of that. I do feel a lot of you, you might be doing like a different type of workout. It could be like rock climbing, or I feel that some of you may decide, you know what, I'm going to be busy with this career thing. I'm going to be making a lot of money. I need to really look at what I'm eating. I need to work out differently, so this is a great time to be doing that too. So the card you got, which is quite a harsh card, is the Ten of Swords. And the Ten of Swords is very much a heavy card. I do feel that you, like I said before, look out who, if you started a company, which a lot of you will, look out who is working with you and who has got your back. Because you may find, because the 10th house is like where you're going to be seen, and a lot of you will be seen. A lot of you may find that there's certain people might be working against you, and you don't find out until Saturn leaves. So really keep that razor sharp emotional energy on lock, because there could be people that you may find that are stabbing you in the back, like the Ten of Swords. And some of this could be, of course, devastating because you didn't see it coming. You definitely need to keep your wits about you. This card is saying you're going through a time of soul re-emergence, should we say. So, look left, right, center, all of that. This card is also saying that there may be some elements that can be quite painful during this transit, because there's going to be certain things that are going to leave your life, and you like to hold on. So there could be things that could leave your life. It could be a marriage or a relationship. It could be your kids going to college, but you need to also make sure that you're trying to be there as well to see it, not bury your head under the carpet, or your books or your career, because you don't want to see it, because it's going to be even worse. So, it's the time of juggling home, family, and career. But Cancers, you can do it, especially because you're a very, very sensitive sign. Okay? Hey, Leo, how are you? So, Leo, you're going to benefit from this. Saturn is in your 9th house. And yeah, it's a great time for you. Again, like I'm going to say to all the signs, look back what happened 30 years ago, because Saturn was entered your 9th. You also did have, you had Saturn, you had Uranus and Neptune, which is ruled by Saturn in Capricorn in your 6th house. So again, like all the signs, I felt that it was not as easy for everyone. Your 6th house is to do with like your daily routines, your health, your wellness, your habits, pets, your employment. And, it might have been, you might have, even though some of you actually may have gone to college, studied, went to uni, traveled, met new people, but you still had to put a lot of work in, and it may have ebbed and flowed. Like, you know, some of you may have felt like, I'm putting all this work in, but you know, I feel that I'm working hard, but nothing's coming out of it. Or, you know, even when it came to like your work, employment, if you started like a new job, then that you had to work really hard and you probably just didn't really believe in it anymore. Obviously, other themes were going on. You had afterwards Uranus went into Aquarius, which was your seventh house. So you know your relationships could have played a big part in what was going on for you. But now it's in your ninth again, 30 years later, and you have Neptune in your ninth. You also have Pluto in your seventh. So yes, you're still gonna have a little bit of a but it's gonna be a better time. You know, the fact that you got Neptune in your ninth as well, which is about your, again, you know, your belief system. I feel that it's going to be much more a spiritual time. I feel, Leos, anything that you didn't really feel or believe in, or, you know, things filtered on and off, it's going to start coming full circle. And it is a perfect time for you to, you know, study, travel, learn a new language, get into like reading like books about philosophy. Some of you may decide you want to like study law. You may want to publish as well. Because Saturn's here, it is putting that sort of taskmaster on you, Leos. It is making you, like, holding you to account, like, you need to do this. You know, Neptune being there as well, it is showing you, oh, you have to, there's no shortcuts that's going on. You may find that you're working really hard because Saturn does rule your sixth house. So it is time to like get yourself organized. Maybe it might be you like writing lists. Okay, I'm going to study this today. I'm going to learn this. I'm going to, you know, if you're going to be traveling, you have to be really on point. Make sure that you got your passport. You know, if you're going to be writing and publishing, again, you're going to have to try and be as diligent as you can. You know, if you, some of you who are lucky to get like an agent or a publishing agent, they may be on you to like complete or finish the book. Some of you may decide you want to be like a travel writer. Again, this is about you being very organized. When it comes to like health and wellness with this, this is great for you to be doing anything that is, you know, meditation, reading up about it. You know, some of you may decide that you want to, you know, either decide to work out or just work out differently. You may, I can see some of you Leos like really studying, like, okay, I want to do this work, I want to eat this type of food. Let me like find out the nutritional content. Let me find out what type of workout this is. If you're going to start out a new workout that no one's ever done before, because you know you Leos, you like to be the first in things. You know, it's really good to like really research it and study it. Again, this is about your beliefs as well. So your beliefs are going to be coming full circle once again. You know, be mindful that, you know, because the ninth house is ruled by Saggy. Be mindful that you're not being too preachy. You know, some of you may be mentors to like younger students. So I feel that whatever you're going to be like teaching, you have to really know what you're talking about. You don't want to be getting no, you know, lawsuit, for instance. But when it comes to your card, Leo, you have a really good card. You have the Eight of Wands, and it's a very much a go, go, go card. It's very much about, you know, the wands are fire signs. So I feel that you're going to be, you know, going towards like your dream, your destination. Some of you are taking it much more seriously than you did 30 years ago. I feel some of you are also I feel that there's a lot more like taking things a lot more seriously. You're not going to be wasting any time. I also feel that some of you are going to be doing like your due diligence in not to be like, again, cutting any corners. This feels very much more a serious time. I feel that your energy and your vitality can be very high as well. Again, this card is saying try not to burn yourself out, because we can, with Aries ruling your ninth, it can make you do things very fast, and you may be taking a lot on, and there could be an element of boredom. So this card is just saying whatever you're going to be taking on, try to complete it. Try to, again, some of you try to take it seriously, some of you will, but still, it's this card is definitely about you, managing yourself a bit more, even if it comes to like your finances. And yeah, it just feels like a go, go, go moment. It also feels like an exciting time for you. It's like, I'm picking up, I didn't do it last time, but I'm going to do it now. And I'm going to complete it. And I'm going to finish it. I'm going to, make this work. I'm going to make this happen. So, a fantastic time for you, Leo. Hello, Virgos. How are you? So, Virgos, this Saturn in Aries is in your 7th house. And, Saturn is leaving your 8th house. Saturn's leaving your 7th house. At what a time it's been. During this time, Virgo, like Pisces as well, you guys are still going to be the stars of the show, because the nodes are in you lot's houses. So you're going to be feeling this heavy. The 8th house is a house of transformation. The 8th house is a house of death, rebirth, it's taxes, it's, inheritances as well. Look back 30 years ago, what happened then? Some of you may have Neptune and Uranus was in Capricorn, which was in your 5th house. So there may have been a time where, like 30 years ago, that there was a lot going on when it came to like your relationships, any like traumas or fears that you had. It may have been quite deep. Some of you may have had to face it, or some of you didn't want to face it. With Neptune and Uranus ruling your 5th house at that time, this was about, fun, creativity, to do with children. Some of you may have had children then. It definitely transformed you. Some of you may have had fun. Dating may have been quite fleeting, like you going out with this person and they weren't what you thought, but then there was a seriousness element to it as well. Uranus does rule your 6th house, so it could have made a lot of you a bit more organized when it came to like who you were dating, but still you were transformed. But now it's 30 years later, and the nodes were different then as well. I believe that the nodes were in Scorpio, or actually I think the nodes were like ebbing in like Aries and Libra, and it was in Scorpio and Taurus. But now it's in water signs again. Like I said, it's in you and Pisces sign. So you're going to be feeling this again, very heavy. You got Neptune in your 8th as well. So this is a very different time. This also feels like a powerful time for a lot of you Virgos. So what you can see now is that, because Saturn, again, karma, taskmaster, some of you may feel that you may have to really work hard in, making sure your finances are on point. Some of you, if you're like getting an inheritance or due inheritance or anything, money from the government or money from your partner, it may feel like it's taking a while to come. You may have to work for it. Even if it's like loans as well, it might be hard. But I think because the nodes are in your sign, and also because you're going to have Jupiter supporting you as well. Yes, it may take a while to come, but you may get more. You may get more. It's just a general, guys. But yeah, it's a time that you're going to be transforming. Again, if you didn't work on transforming yourself the last time, this can be a powerful time for you to do it. The nodes are in your, like your, you the South Node is in Virgo, so you are releasing some aspect of yourself. So this is a powerful time to like really get serious and think, you know what, I need to work on this. I need to really, you know, there's things that I've buried and now it's coming to the surface. And the fact that Aries rules your eighth, it's like it can be very powerful. It can be feeling you, it can just come at once, and it's like, I need to work on this, I need to deal with this. So it's great for you to work with, you know, therapy, do anything. It could be you working, doing like astrology work. I feel a lot of you are taking it seriously. Like, you know what? I'm going to be honest with how I feel about the past. I'm going to be honest with how I felt about this person, or, you know, about my partner. It could be to do with your children as well. Because, you know, you got Saturn, which is in your 7th. So that's going to be coming full throttle too. But yeah, some of you may find that you may want to not be around too much people. You know, things can feel quite heavy. There could be some trauma along the way. But again, it will come quick for you to deal with. It's not about burying it. It's not about you putting your head under the sand, you know, working hard, just trying to forget about it, because Aries is like, nope, we're going to bring this out. There's something else I wanted to say for you, Virgos, as well. But yeah, it's a powerful time for you to work with any unsung emotions. The card that you have is the Four of Cups. Now, the Four of Cups, Cancer card. Again, for some reason, when I see the Four of Cups, I always feel like a depression coming on, but not necessarily. The Four of Cups is also showing that, like, I feel it's like what I just said. Like, if there was missed opportunities, now it's sort of being presented to you. Try not to dig your heels in. Try not to dig your heels in. You're a sign that's very much about the health and wellness. So it's really great for you to be doing some type of fitness. Yes, you may do it alone, but it can really transform you. You may want to take up another form of fitness. If you're not one of those, if you're a Virgo that's not into like meditation, or, you know, because that can also transform you mentally, it's a great time to be doing it. If you're not into doing yoga, this is a great time to be doing it. Because it's Aries, some of you may want to do like hot yoga, or you may want to do like walking meditation. You know, this card is saying that there's things that are going to be presented to you for you to work on. This card is very much about unhappiness, and it is about disappointments. And I feel you're only going to feel that if you're not working with the energy. You're only going to feel that if you refuse to transform yourself and also to change. So, you know, it can feel, this energy can feel quite heavy, Virgos, but once you start working with that deepness or darkness, or that energy that is stagnated, you will be transformed. Okay, so this card is definitely saying that, you know, things are coming for you to work on, but also it's also for you to be in touch with your emotional state as well. Okay, it's a bit of a heavy one, Virgo, but once you work on it, things will start happening very quickly. Transformation will come quickly. Okay. Hello, Libra. Oh, Libra, Libra, Libra. What a time it's going to be for you. So, like all the cardinal signs, very special time. You, Libra, definitely, it's a good time to look back what happened 14 years ago, 2000 and between 2000, was it 2011, 12 and 13, when Saturn was in your sign. What happened in your like daily, it could be like your daily life, but your like whole life, your relationship. I know some Libras, and some of them had children then. So the children could be like nearly teenagers now. So yeah, look, so your like, even like your job change physically, you definitely may have changed as well. But yeah, your whole life changed when Saturn was in your sign. And also some of you went for your Saturn return, which was in Libra. Okay. Or some of you are now going for your Saturn return again. But yeah, so look back 14 years ago, but also look back 30 years ago when Saturn was in your 7th house. It was, Saturn went into Aries in February 1996. So look back what happened then. Big time for you. It could be a milestone for you. Your relationship. And again, once again, we had Neptune and we had Uranus. We also had Neptune and Uranus all in Capricorn. It squared your 4th house. So not only was your relationship being highlighted, so was your 4th house as well. So there could be there could have been some instability going on there. Lots of changes with, like, if you was a teenager, like your parents' relationship could have changed, but also your relationships change probably with your parents, with your home life. Some of you may have moved, went to college, but also if you was in a relationship, whether it's a teenage relationship or whether it's a some of you probably got married. Some of you may have had kids as well, but it, like I said, for all the signs, it wasn't the greatest of times, you know, with we had so much conjunctions in Capricorn with Saturn and Neptune, Uranus and Neptune, all in Capricorn. It's like the energy was it was tough. So a lot of you, all of you cardinal signs really felt it. And, 30 years is a long time, but things do come around in a circle. But one thing now, Libra, is that you're going through your 30-year cycle again, a new beginning. And one thing I was also going to say is that with Saturn being in Aries, it lasts for 30 years because it's a brand new cycle. So for you, Libra, even like if you look back 14 years ago, even now, if you're in a relationship, it could change. You could commit more. Some of you may decide that you actually want a family, or there could be a new addition to the family. There could be you changing your job, your career. There could also be a change in your relationship. Some of you may break from a relationship. You may decide, you know what, being together 30 years now, we've been together for 14 years now, and it's not working. So there could be that. Or it could be, we've been together 14 years, let's get married. Or, let's have kids. Or let's move. Some of you may look at this time and think, you know what, I'm not happy in my job. I'm not happy who I'm working with. I need to move. I need to leave. Some of you may even immigrate to another country. The energies are a little bit better now because you've got Pluto, which is in, and again, Pluto, it did edge into Sagittarius then, which was your 3rd house. The things, was a little bit better. But now we're having Uranus going into, because last time Uranus was squaring you. But now we have Neptune, of course it's opposing you. But we have Uranus in your 9th in Gemini. And we also have Pluto in Aquarius in your 5th. So the energies are a bit lighter. With Saturn being here, even though there is going to be a square to your 10th house, that's going to be happening because it's going to square Cancer. Jupiter going into Cancer. This will show you, again, your whole family situation and your relationship towards your career and your family is going to be challenged. But with challenge comes, it can also come with a rebirth. With Pluto being in your 5th and Uranus being in your 9th, your mindset, your goals, your visions, your aims are going to be completely different now. I think if you are in like a relationship that's quite stagnated, some of you may decide, you know what, let's try and do something different. I love you. I actually want to save this. let's do something different. Let's move. Let's go to another country. Or you could decide that you want to learn. Some of you may decide you want to learn. Could be more about yourself, but you may want to learn more about your partner. Most important, you want to learn about yourself. Okay? And like I said, this is a very special time for a lot of you Librans to figure out what you want and what you need. Because it's opposing you, you know, there can be some frustrations, but I feel that you are going to be speaking your truth. And speaking your truth is of most importance now. Okay? And like I said, look back to the 14, 30 years ago, look how far you've come. You know, one thing I am seeing for some Libras is that a relationship from the past is coming back. And I feel that if it's meant to be, it will be. If it's not, it could be very fleeting. It could be a case of there was unfinished business that needed to be, some things needed to be said. And, you know, I feel that some of you may be carrying a lot of weight. And I'm picking up 30 years ago, picking up a lot of baggage from your past relationship. And it could be business people, it could be friends. But this does feel that there's some baggage that needs to be released now. And now's that time to do it. Like I said, if you get back with that person, it's supposed to be, but if not, it's just supposed to release certain karmatic structures that you both had. Okay? So when we come to your card, you've got the Eight of Pentacles. It's a nice card. It's very much about money, but it's also about putting the work in. Again, I am feeling some of you are having to put a lot of work into yourself. Some of you may have, I am picking up some of you need to love yourself more. You need to invest in yourself more as well. You know, Saturn was in your 6th house before, and some of you may have had to do a lot of the heavy lifting, heavy duty. And it could be towards family, it could be in your career. Some people may have taken the mick out of you, like, oh, the Libra will do it, so they put all the work on the Libra. So you didn't really have time for yourself, but now this card is saying to put the work in yourself. Yes, rewards will come. It could be financial rewards. This card is also saying that, you know, if you are looking to definitely change your job or your career, now's that time. Because and I think because Pluto's in your 5th house as well, you know, you may be doing something very creative now. And it could be within you could meet up with someone who gets to be like a business partner, and you could be doing like a creative partnership together, not necessarily sexual, but just like, you know what, this person is showing me something that I'm actually good at. I didn't know I was good at it. So yeah, invest in yourself now. Invest in your health, your wellness. This card is also saying that, you know, again, because we're dealing with the body here, invest in your health. Really take care of your health. Really take care of because Saturn is about the bones, teeth, the muscular system. Really take care of that, because in the next 30 years or 14 years, when Saturn goes into your sign, you're going to start seeing results. So on the whole, you know, start investing in yourself now, because I feel that a lot of you have invested in others. Okay? Hello, my Scorpio. How are you? So Scorpio, Saturn, because you know you're co-ruled by Mars. Saturn is in your is in your 6th house. It was in your 5th before. How did you enjoy that? In your 6th, which is to do with your routines, daily routines, your habits, your health, your wellness, pets, employment. Again, look back 30 years ago, because when Saturn went into Aries, it did impact you. Remember, Pluto was edging out of Scorpio then. Yeah, Pluto was edging out of Scorpio. So this was a time that, you know, a lot of you were like greatly transformed. But when it went into Sagittarius, it was a different story. But still, yeah, it was in your 6th house 30 years ago. Look back what happened in 14 years ago when it was in your 12th house. Okay, but we'll come to that later on anyway. But yes, most importantly, this was in your 6th, and you know, you had Uranus, which was in your 3rd house. So 6th and 3rd house action happening. I feel that it was very busy for a lot of you Scorpions. Like some of you, like especially if you were working, you had to like restructure your whole like work. Like I'm gonna go to work, or I'm starting a new job. It may have been very busy for a lot of you as well. You're making like business contacts, or some of you may have done like short courses, studying. I felt a lot of you took it very, very seriously. And there's nothing wrong with taking something seriously. But it was to do with your health as well. So some of you may have started like a health regime. But because like those other things that were happening, it may have veered off and you concentrated a lot more on work. But now 30 years later, look, you know, if you look back, happened then till now, some of you may have started to learn a lot about, you know, what works for you, what work you want to do. You know, we've got Pluto, which you're ruled by, is in your 4th house. So I think a lot of things are coming to home now for a lot of you. Like, okay, again, there could be stagnation and changes within your employment. You may find that you're working a lot more and probably getting less. Your home life is, there could be some stress and strains in your home life, and some of you may be ignoring it but concentrating more on work, which can definitely impact your health. You know, we've got Pluto in your 4th, you're going to have Uranus in your 8th, which is your house. So you are definitely being transformed. Like your whole structure is going to be transformed now. If you, because you know you're a fixed sign, some of you Scorpions may not want to change, but Saturn being there with the other planets not like favorable for you, they're going to change. If you've not been taking care of yourself 30 years ago, now is the time to be doing it. Some of you may decide that you actually want to run a marathon. You may want to decide that you want to like start doing weightlifting, or you may want to start doing some, it could be yoga, but I feel that's heavy impacted, not heavy, but like things that can make you sweat and could just make you not think way too much is the perfect time. Saturn being in your 6th is also about you, it's like pioneering. So this is great for a lot of you to like do like a workout that no one's doing before. Okay, but you still have to be very mindful, especially if you're taking any type of that medication or any medicines. If it's new, be mindful, because it may not work for you. Okay, so just really consult with whoever. But yeah, it's a great time to be like, just be mindful of, you know, your body, your awareness, not push yourself too much, because you can push yourself a lot. You are going to be very busy, Scorpions, but you don't want to like ignore what's going on at home or ignore what's going on internally within yourself. Sometimes, Scorpio, when we work so hard, it's because we want to not think about things that we need to think about. Okay. One good thing about this is that Jupiter's going into your 9th house. So this is going to be expanding you. It can actually help you be in tune, but you have to remember to be in tune. The card you've got is a Death card, which is actually a Scorpio card. This card is just saying you're going to be transformed. You release the old and come into the new. There are some things, Scorpios, in the past that will come up, that will need you to release, that would need work. And that's one of the reasons why I said that it's things that do come up is to deal with. It's not to just, oh, I'm not going to deal with it, it's just too much. Or it's going to bring me to a place where I can't get out. I feel that it is time to work with that deepness that you've sort of avoided. And it could be from work. There could be also, I do feel that some certain places, themes, people could be coming up that remind you of something. And I'm also picking up, don't try not to get too much revenge, because, you know, this could see a lot of you being very fiery as well. Even though it's Saturn's there, it can still see like something burning within. So yeah, the death card is, whenever we see it, it's a very scary card, but you are being transformed. You are releasing. I feel that a lot of you are saying, and again, if you're not happy in your job, don't be afraid to leave. You know, don't be afraid to start up your own practice as well. Okay, so it's a very powerful time for a lot of you Scorpions. Hello, Sagittarius. How are you? So, Sagittarius, Saturn's in your fifth house. You know, 30 years ago, Saturn was in your fifth. You also had Pluto that was in your sign as well. So, it was very, and you also had, we did have, though, Uranus in your second. We also had Neptune there as well. So it may have not, again, like all the signs, not have been as favorable for you, like when it comes to like your money, resources. You know, it may have ebbed and flowed. It may have like was here, but it wasn't there. It may have been very up and down. You may have overspent, may have like money was just going. And also because Pluto was there, it's like, oh, it's going to be fine. But now you got it in your fifth house again. But again, going back to 30 years ago with you, Saggies, you know, how was your love life then? Some of you may have like had lots of like relationships with people, you know, may have had loads of, could have been flings, but this fifth house is about dating. But with Saturn being there, it could have felt sort of like you had to take it a little bit more seriously, or you could have like jumped from one partner to the other, or it could have been like, I really like this person, why don't they like me type of thing. Your love life could have felt a bit stagnated, even like your creativity, it may have not have been as forthcoming. But now we have it 30 years later, we have it in your fifth again. We have good planets. We have, obviously we have the opposition to, you know, Uranus in your seventh. But we also have, you know, Pluto in your third. And even though Saturn is restricting a lot, I feel that a lot of you are going to be taking things more seriously, because we've got Neptune also in your fifth house. So it sort of like eases it a bit. Actually, it does ease it, that whole stagnation. So I feel if you didn't take anything seriously last time, because it wasn't that time, and depending on what age you were, you're going to be taking it seriously now. I feel that if you are really and truly Sagittarius, if you come out of a relationship and you're ready to like date and mingle, perfect. This is perfect. If you are looking to meet someone special, well, it might not be on your radar, but you could meet someone special. Just be mindful they are what they are. Okay, then they're being truthful. But, and also because you know you got Uranus going into your seventh, this is going to be like, it could be very up and down. But your like creativity could be off the charts. Okay, this is a pioneering time. So really dig deep, Saggies, and see, okay, what is it? Look what everyone else is doing, but look what people are not doing. That's what I'll say. Look at what people are not doing. There's something there, Sagittarius, that someone is not doing, and this is your time to do it. Yes, you can be very distracted. Yes, you could be like, you know, people could be chasing you. You could be dating here, there, and everywhere. You also could be like, you know, feeling yourself and taking care of yourself, working out. But really try and stay on that creative plan. Especially if it's something new. Especially if no one's doing it. Okay? It's actually a good time. It'll actually be good for a lot of you Sagittarius to like Google is this something, and if it hasn't come up, that means it's your time to do it. Yeah. Yes, you can you can be very distracted with Saturn in Aries ruling the body. A lot of you, I feel, are going to be like, you know, because a lot of you to a point are going to be center of attention, and you know you want to feel your best. So you know, go ahead and like do those weights, and you know, some of you could be running, some of you could be rock climbing. Take care of like your heart health, take care of like your hips as well. That's what you're ruled by. Trying to push yourself too much, because you lot can really push yourself. But you know, I feel that a lot of you are going to be enjoying this time. You know, we enjoying the center of attention, and some of you may even enjoy being chased. Some of you enjoy just dating. Some of you actually enjoy creativity. And with Pluto also being in your third, your mind's different now. Yeah, your mind is different. You know, last time it was in your house, but now it's in your third. So you're getting some major downloads. You know, if you've actually wanted to do like a blog or a podcast, because this is to do with creativity as well, this is the time to do it. It's like the time to like really speak your truth. You know, your relationships, if you are in one, is going to be going up and down. But there's going to be like a fun side to a lot of you Sagittarians, and so it should be. The card that you got is a Temperance card, which actually is your card. So it feels like the cup floweth over me. Yeah. So I don't know why I said that, but that's like the general consensus that I'm getting. But this card is definitely about balance. Again, so I'm very, very excited for a lot of you Sagittarians. I'm very, very excited because, you know, Saturn was in your fourth, and it might have felt very heavy and might have felt bound to things. But now it's just like, I can't believe all this is happening to me. That's the feeling that I'm getting. But you need to take care, because all of the signs, especially the fire signs, can overdo it. So yeah, you know, this card is definitely about balance, but it's also a positive time. This is an angel card. This card is also telling me to like really, some of you could definitely feel stagnated, but manifest. One thing I'll say, manifest balance, but also I think that I am picking up, some of you need like someone to help you with all the opportunities that are coming your way. So it could be getting someone from family, it could be a friend, it could be like making them like your PA, your PR person. I am also picking up that you can't do it on your own. So things that are going to come to you, Sagittarius, it's not about you just doing it all by yourself. You are going to be needing help. Imagine, Sagittarius, all what you've wished for has now come. Another thing about the fifth house as well, let's be honest, is about children. So some of you, it could happen. Obviously Saturn is there, but we got Neptune there. But it could happen. If some of you Sagittarius haven't decided to have kids, you may like date someone and next you know they're pregnant. This could happen. Or you may be in a relationship, you're having fun, you get pregnant. If you're not looking for that, you know what to do. Just be mindful, because they could come bam, bam, bam. They can come when Saturn is in Aries for the next 3 years. So just be mindful. But yes, caution is just try not to burn yourself out. Know that you don't have to do it by yourself. And yeah, have fun. Have fun, because there's a lot of fun to be had. Okay? Hello, Capricorn. How are you? So, Capricorns, this Saturn in Aries is definitely going to affect you. And, you know, because you're ruled by Saturn anyway. So, wherever Saturn goes, it affects you, basically. Good or bad. Happy or sad, as Miss Tina Turner would say. Or Al Green, should we say. But yes, so Saturn going into Aries is going to square you. This is in your fourth house. Now, like I've asked all the signs, look back what happened 14 years ago when it was in Libra, which was in your 10th house. And look, and most importantly, look what happened 30 years ago. Because 30 years ago, you had a lot of conjunctions that were in your sign. You had Uranus, you had Neptune, and you had Saturn there, all in your sign. One of the big ones was a Saturn-Neptune conjunction in your sign. And you know what happened during the world has impacted everyone. The closing square is actually happening this year, but more completely gone next year. So, you know, everything was in your first house when Saturn was in Aries in 1996 to 1999. But still, that whole conjunction in your sign was carrying forth. Okay. So, because it was in your fourth house, because it was in your first and fourth house, yes, it squared you. Yes, it may have been hard to deal with things within your past, you know, family life, lineage. But because there's a lot of planets in your first house, you know, you were shining as well. When it went into Libra in your 10th house, this was about your career. And like I said, this conjunction, the Saturn Neptune conjunction, happened in 1989 and it finished in 2026, 25, 26. It still carried forth. So this was about, like, you know, when it was 14 years ago, this was about your career. This was about your status. You are, you know, you're very comfortable in the 10th house. Some of you may have had children. Some of you may have got married. Some of you may, and also bearing in mind, Pluto was in your sign as well. It was a powerful time for a lot of you Capricorns. But again, even though it did square you, because Pluto was there, it saved you once again. Because 30 years ago, you had that conjunction, it saved you. Now you had Pluto, it saved you. Not so much this time, because, you know, we are now again dealing with your fourth house again. So I feel that what wasn't said or done 30 years ago now is going to come full circle. And I feel some of you may be feeling or even facing the past head on. There's no getting away. There's no you trying to keep busy because, you know, you can't deal with it. I feel that you're going to be, some of you may be open to it, or some of you may be actually having to be still and face certain issues. And it could be to do with your mum or both your parents. It could be to do with your, you know, your past in general. You know, it could be, you, I feel that Saturn being in your fourth this time, you know, there may be some stuff that comes up thick and fast. And it could be like childhood friends. It could be, you know, old lovers. It could be, you know, people in your family. Fourth house is never a comfortable house because it's a massive square. You know, you Capricorns, like all the cardinal signs, are going through a square, like a triangle square happening. So it's this, what I'm picking up is like it's time to get busy, but it's time to face reality. And even if you do, Capricorns, try to be busy, not to think about it, it's going to keep coming for you to face. So the fourth house is also a house that is dealing with, you know, taking care of yourself, like self-care. And because Saturn is in Aries, which is a sign that is about, you know, fitness, working out. But things may get quite rough for some of you. And another theme that's going on is that we've got Pluto in your second. We've got Uranus that's going into your sixth house as well. Like I said before, we had Pluto, which was in your sign last time, and then we had Uranus, which was in your sign before. So the energies are very different. The energies may make a lot of you feel very like uneasy because we're dealing with air and fire here. We're dealing with air. So with it being in your second and also your sixth houses, and with Saturn being in your fourth, again, I feel that it's time for you to just face reality, get grounded as much as you can, because there are some themes and stuff coming up. And also because you're ruled by Saturn, a lot of you may be digging your heels in, like, I don't want to deal with this, I don't want to deal with that. I feel also that there may be people, again, coming from your past, and it definitely could be family. Some of you may decide that you want to move. You know, I feel some of you, even if you do want to talk about certain subjects or, you know, certain conversations, it might be hard going. Some of you may decide that you want to be like just, just keep to yourself a lot, because, it can be very hard hitting, can be quite harsh. Nothing wrong in that. Um, if you do have a family as well, some of you may be making a stronger commitment to, be around more, not, because it's the fourth and 10th house we're talking about. So if you were very busy, like 14 years ago, just concentrating on your career, it's a case of, I've built up myself, built up my, career. Now I can just sort of kick back. So this is a great time to spend time with family. If you haven't, it's a great time to, you know, bond with your kids if you have them, or bond with your partner, or bond with your home. If you will wanting to like decorate your home, this is a time to be organized. With Uranus in your sixth house, it's going to be about organizing up yourself. It could be, it obviously it's going to be in a different way, but I think you're going to be organized in a way that obviously suits the family. Some of you could also be working from home. You could definitely be setting up a business from home. In terms of like taking care of yourself, this is a time that, with Saturn, with Pluto and that being in your house, some of you may have like did like really hard workouts, but now it's like you might want to do like swimming. You might want to do because Saturn you're ruled by. If you're weightlifting, it's great to still continue to do it. Some of you may want to work out by yourself at home, or work out with your family. Yeah, I can see a lot of you trying to get strong within the core. That's what I'm picking up, trying to get strong within the core. But yeah, workout is very good for this transit for everyone. But if you're getting squid, this is the time to really do it. So the card that you got the Ace of Cups. Wow. So this is showing me that you're going to be, like I said before, there's no like getting away with anything. Like there's no like digging your heel. Not how can I put this? There's no like not facing reality, but also facing emotions. The fourth house is going to bring up a lot of heavy emotions, Capricorn. So you're a sensitive sign, but you hide it very well. But this card and the fourth house and the actions telling me that there's no way to hide now. There could be tears, there could be anger, frustration. This card is telling me open up. This card is also showing me that it's a new beginning for emotions, a new beginning to be opening up. It's a new beginning to say how you feel, say what you think. This card is also showing me, if you're going to be connecting more with like your parents or people that you consider parents, you could be hearing about themes and things that you never knew that can make you very much emotional. Saturn being in your fourth with Aries there, it's not making you cold, it's making you, face things, be that, that pioneer, that, it's going to make you stronger, and this card is saying, releasing emotions, it makes you stronger. So it's a very, very powerful time, Capricorn, okay? Hello, my Aquarius, how are you? So, Aquarius, you're going to be benefiting from this, yeah, because this is in your third house. Once again, Aquarius, look what happened. Yeah, definitely 30 years ago, because in 1997 we had Uranus going into your sign, and during that time Saturn in Aries was in your third house. But with Uranus being there as well, again, like Capricorn, star of the show, you were shining. Some of you were shining quite brightly. The third house is about siblings. It's about your short distance travel, neighbors. It's about daily communication through social media. And when Uranus went into your sign 30 years ago, the computers like, Google and Yahoo, all of that came up. This was a time where Aquarius was at its best, like the whole Aquarian theme. In a way, social media was picking up quick and fast. I'm so sorry, Aquarius. Yeah, it was picking up very, very fast, and yeah, it was a powerful time, and it was actually like a sort of spiritual, but also like a magical time. 30 years ago, Aquarius, some of you may have decided, because Uranus was on your side, may have decided to like write a blog, or you probably or thinking about like some of you probably were in high school, like writing a diary. But this was the time that blogging started to sort of like come up as well. So I think that if you didn't do it then, it might be the time that you might want to do it now. I don't know, maybe. This is the time where, because Saturn is a restrictive planet with being in Aries. Some of you may find that, friends are a bit restricted. Even what you're learning can feel a bit restricted as well. Or you may even want to start doing like a short course, but you might find that you have to put extra work in, or you may want to like make up a course, especially if some of you are teachers. But you again put in the work in. If you're making new friends, you might have to put a lot of work in making new friends. If you are starting up any like type of like anything to do with like social media, blogging, any type of writing, so even like YouTube, there has to be a lot of work in. This is telling me to do something a bit different, because you've got Pluto in your sign, and Pluto in your sign is making it like 30 years ago you had Uranus, now you got Pluto. How magical is that? We also have Uranus, which is going into your fifth house. So it's actually, yes, there's restrictions, but there's also a powerful time. It's a time that you have to really look into like your mind, body, and soul, and your heart. This is actually a very fruitful, creative time. Just know that there has to be a lot of work that you have to put in Aquarius. I feel that some of you are not really afraid. Some of you may have been afraid last time, but now it's like I'm not afraid. Maybe because Pluto's there, it's like I can do this. I've got this. I have no fears, no worries. I feel another thing that some of you may find in a way, your tribe. I feel that definitely doing lots of short distance travel can really help you. In terms of like any type of like fitness you want to do, because we're dealing with Aries here. I feel that this can rev up some, because with the third house activated, it can also make a lot of you feel quite bold in how you're communicating and speaking. So you may shoot from the hip. But again, this is making you guys less fearful. You'll be a bit more brave. So yeah, some of you may say what you think. Some of you may write what you think and put it on social media. Remember, you're an activist, so I feel that this is showing me you're not going to be afraid. Um, but also, it is still a busy time, Aquarius. It's a time where you guys are going to be very busy, very active. Yes, there can be drama. Yes, there can be arguments. Um, but the third house is ruled by Gemini. Because Saturn, you're traditionally ruled by Saturn, so you do have to really take care of like the mental health, but also your system. It can be revved up, so like lots of deep breathing work. Some of you may decide that you want to do a different type of workout. Try not to go too hard too fast, because we're dealing with Saturn here. You don't want to injure yourself, but like breath work will be very good. Anything that helps you like breathing and keeps you calm, because your mind is going to be very busy. It's going to be revved up. It's going to be go, 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 go. There's new action starting. There's new beginnings starting for you, Aquarius. So let's talk about your card. The card you got is the Ace of Wands. Wow. So this is showing me whenever you see wands, it's very much about energy. It's a very fire sign, and also Aries is a fire sign. So this is basically showing me for a lot of you is a very enterprising time. You guys are going to be starting up. You could be like new startups, but you're going to be starting up things in a different way. This card is also showing me that you will have the drive, you will have the energy, but you still have to pace yourself. Um, Try to finish what you start. This a possibility that a lot of you will start up new projects, but you have to finish it. You have to put the work in. You can't. It is a time that you know you're not gonna talk the talk and not do the walk. Okay. But this card is a beautiful card for you, Aquarius, because it showed me that the light is shining on you. If you don't dare to be different. Try not to follow the crowds. If you guys are gonna be getting like some major downloads, so you know go with that. Don't burn out your energy, because this card has showed me that there could be it could be seen some of you could burn out your energy a lot. Pace yourself. Try not to run that engine, but yeah, it's still a good new beginning that's happening for you. It's showing me that there is inspiration everywhere, and yeah, go for it. But take your time as well. Hello, Pisces. How are you? So, Pisces, Saturn. Even though Saturn's in your sign when I'm talking about this, we're wrapping up a 30-year BBA beginning for you, and we are beginning a 30-year cycle with Aries. So, how has Saturn been in your sign? I know it's been a lot. Some of you may have felt that you couldn't emote as much. You may have felt restricted, and even your creativity, your spirituality. With Saturn being in your second house, because we're going all the way back, okay? 14 years ago, Saturn was in your eighth house. So there could have been a bit of restriction when it came to like the money situation within whether it's from the government, your partner or ex-partner. Money may have felt restricted. You may have had to put a lot of work in. Remember, last decade was a different time. Okay, Pluto was in your 11th. But still there might have been a lot of restriction. But also fears may have come up as well. 30 years ago, when Saturn went into your second, you had Uranus and Neptune all in your 11th, once again with Capricorn. Some of you may have been young adults or going to college, so you may have started a new job. But saying that, with Saturn being in the second, money may have not as flown as much. Okay, money may have been felt tight. You may have had to put a lot of work in, and some of you may have had to probably taken on like 2 jobs, or even that you must have, even some of you may have felt like you couldn't overspend, might have felt restricted in some way. And Saturn ruling your 11th, some of you may have started to like do like some type of performance, or went into the arts, or you know you may have made some gains through people, but when it came to like spending money or even saving, it may have felt quite tight. But Aries is here to make you a bit like an entrepreneur. Like, okay, you're not making as much money at work. What can you do on the side? It's not all doom and gloom. But we're gonna see Saturn ease back into your signs. When it goes into Aries, it is gonna be, some of you may get this entrepreneur spirit, like, okay, I need to do something now, because you got Neptune there as well. Like, I need to really go for doing that business, or um I need to like do that, not even like a hustle, but I want to do that creative project. Because Saturn being in your first, it may have restricted it, but now it's going in your second, it's going to ease off a bit. So this will show you where you can sort of invest in yourself. And the second house is also about eating habits. So with Saturn being in your first, some of you may have, I've seen a lot of Pisces getting fit and they slim down, and you know, some of you, especially if you're late degree Pisces, you may be feeling that now, like I need to like really concentrate on what I'm eating, eat healthily, go to bed early, you know, really take care of myself. So that could be a theme that's going on too. Yes, that's what I'm picking up for a lot of you Pisces. But you know, like 30 years ago also we had Uranus, which was in your 12th house as well, but then it went into your first house during the noughties. Okay, so a little bit of a powerful time for a lot of you Pisces, I'm not gonna lie. But and also it may have felt quite harsh 30 years ago and 14, but now it's different. You've got Pluto in your 12th. You also have you know, you're gonna have Uranus in your 4th, which does square you. So I feel a lot of you, if you didn't like take money seriously 30 years ago, or even like 14 years ago, if things like, if even if things were restricted, some of you, I believe, did come into money, but you probably were just frivolous with it. I feel now you're going to not only get a lot of downloads about what you should be doing, how you should be investing it. I feel a lot of you are also going to be, you know, really investing within like yourself, but also within your home. If you have children, which I doubt not a lot of you do have, because Saturn being in your first can produce children. Some of you are thinking, okay, I need to like put money into this home, or even buying a new home, or you know, just redecorating the home. Or some of you may even actually start decorating it because could be a new addition coming. It could be your parents coming. All of that. I feel that when it comes to money now, Pisces, is very different now. Some of you could actually make a lot of gains and a lot of money, even though there's a restriction there. You know, we've had stelliums in your sign this year, Pisces. We had like the yeah, we're having a Saturn Neptune stellium for a brief second in your sign. We've also had like the North Node and Saturn conjunction. We've also had the Venus Saturn conjunction in your sign. And these carry for like 16 years, 11 years. So yeah, you're doing things differently, Pisces. You know, if you weren't a saver 30 years ago, you're going to be saving now. If you weren't a person that was like entrepreneur, like starting up a new project, or, you know, getting investments, or you will get it now, I believe. You just have to take it serious. A brand new time, a brand new beginning. When it comes to like workouts, I would say do workouts that, you know, that you're guided to do. Because Saturn is, you know, again ruling like yeah, Saturn rules your 11th, but because we're dealing with Saturn here, and for everyone when it comes to working out, I think like things like breath work will help you. um being mindful of what you're eating as well. Be careful of like your digestion, because we've got the nodes here. Okay, and the nodes, it does carry through for the next 30 years. People forget that. I've always said that, Pisces, like whatever happens with the transits, it does carry through for years or even decades to come. So yes, you do have to be mindful of what you're eating, be mindful of, you know, taking care of yourself. I don't doubt that a lot of you are not working out. I feel that, you know, if you started to like a meditation practice, started doing light stretching, continue to do it. Because like I said, this does carry for the next 30 years. Yeah. But when we come to your card, you got the King of Wands. So like I said, you're standing in your truth, Pisces. You are, I feel that, of course, everyone's going to be having restrictions, but it's very much a go-getting time. Again, I feel that some of you are really taking like the bulls by the horns and just really going for it. I do see some of you Pisceans coming, whether it's coming into money, making money, having like a business. I also see some of you Pisces being like the main breadwinner, because, you know, you're earning a bit more, and it definitely could be to do these conjunctions in your sign. But yeah, this card is showing me that you're a bit more stronger now. Whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, you are stronger. You are more confident. You are not afraid to ask for your worth as well. If you're working for someone, but even if you're working for yourself, Pisces, you're going to be very sort of like strict, determined, but different and stronger. And again, the third house, the second, this is like the second house, like even how you're speaking, it could change. You're going to be more, this card is showing about command of spirit, mind, body, and soul. So, you know, there's an aim that you're going for, go for it. Don't be afraid. Okay. So, guys, that was a long video. It had to be, because we're dealing with Saturn going into Aries, a brand new 30-year cycle. Yeah, this is a very powerful, special time, guys. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Read, like, comments, share to your friends, your neighbors, whoever. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for staying with me on this video. Like I said, I really was determined to do this video because, you know, you can come back to this tomorrow, today, 30 years. So yes, thank you guys for listening, and I'll speak to you guys very soon. Take care. Bye.